So the PSAT, it was very easy. A lot of it was multiple choice. So if you didn't have the answer immediately, you were able to use the process of elimination and to find the answer. So that was very helpful.
My name is Matt Mansfield, and I enjoyed taking the PSAT because it allowed me to challenge myself. And I'm looking forward to seeing my scores because it'll allow me to see how I progressed from the last time I took it. And with the PSAT, it gives me several possible scholarship opportunities.
So a positive part of the SAT experience that I had was it was kind of a preparation for my junior year. So I know what kind of stuff is on there and what I need to do, and yeah.
The best part about the PSAT is the breaks, and the best thing about it is that it can help you to get into college.
Something positive that I learned from the PSAT is that I know how to study for it. I learned how to prepare myself and be able to do the PSAT and the SAT.
Hi, I'm Paige Schmitz, and the way that retaking the PSAT helped me was I felt I was better prepared for taking the SAT in the future. As someone who struggles a lot with taking tests and being timed, I feel it's really a good thing to practice on that and to know the questions better, and to just know the environment that you're going to be in. So, yeah.
So let's get into our scores. At the top here, this is the overview. Then you have test scores broken down. You have a cross-test score that highlights certain areas, and then even sub-scores that look at. So we'll take a look at each area. So starting with your reading and writing score, you can see that I'm a student, earned a 380. That's from 160 out of 760. This color guide down here shows where she is in relationship to benchmarks. She is in the yellow zone, so she is approaching the benchmark. Down here it gives a little information about where you are benchmark-wise. They say that if you are at the benchmark, then you would have a 75% of being ready to succeed at a first-year college level track class. So the SAT is out of 200 to 800, so the scores are a little bit different. But basically they say that a 380 on the PSAT would equate to a 380 on the SAT. So the differences, there are a few point differences. You know, if you earned a 760 perfect score on the PSAT, then of course that would mean an 800 on the SAT. So there's a little bit of a difference. Right in here you can also see where you are in relationship to the nation. So I'm a student scored 18% above all the other students in the nation. So that is in relationship to 10th grade students because she's a 10th grader. So each of the grades have their own scores. So on this side we do the same thing for the math score. She's earned a 480 and she was 47%, and she's on track for college, so she just barely reaches that green spot for being benchmark, so she meets or exceeds the benchmark for the PSAT in math. Then in the middle is her overall score, so that's 860. It's between 320 and 520, or 1520, excuse me, and she'd be the 28th percentile nationally for, again, all 10th graders. If she was an 11th grader, it would be a different scoring for national. So moving down, the first thing we see here is the test scores, and the first thing we can see is that the range changes. So they are in an 8 to 38 point scale. But again, the benchmarks are the same coloring. So you can see for reading, she's in that yellow zone. Language and writing, she's in the yellow zone. Math, again, she's really close to the green. So that's, again, a breakdown. Then down here in the cross-test scores, it's an analysis for history and social science as well as science. So those scores again are out of 38. The last section is the subscores, and again you can see the range is yet again different. So this one is a 1 to 15, but also like the others, the benchmark information is there. So to me, I think this part is the most helpful to break down the areas that you need to work on. So the command of evidence, you know, all the way down. So the heart of algebra, she did well on, but she needs to work on some of the other areas that she's in the yellow. Next up is the National Merit Scholarship. You're looking at the selectivity index number. Initially, if you have a star by it, you really don't need to worry about this section because unfortunately that means you aren't at the top 50,000 students of the nation because that's the top 3 or 4% of the nation. If your number is above 200, you might not have an asterisk by there, and that would mean that you are within the top 50,000 or so students, and you're quite a rock star as far as PSAT goes, because that could mean that you are eligible for some financial money scholarships coming your way. So where does this number come from, you might be asking? Well, actually, it's a combination of these three numbers down here doubled. So the National Merit Scholarship is just for juniors. So if your number is above 200 and you don't have an asterisk by your name, you will be contacted about National Merit Scholarship opportunities. If you are a sophomore and your number is above 200, it might be helpful for you to do some prep work for next year's PSAT so that you also can be in running for the National Merit Scholarship. So you have your scores. What's next? Well, one thing that you can do is you can use this information to see what you're strong in and also what you need to improve on. So, for example, Ima is pretty good at reasonably drawing conclusions from challenging text, but she needs to work on drawing inferences and logical conclusions from challenging text. So that can give her some information working with her English teacher to try to work on those skills. This last section are your actual answers from the test. It's broken down by each of the categories. You can see with the calculator, without the calculator, and then it has the question number, whether it was correct, what you answered, so the checkbox there, this person, Ima, had a correct answer. The difficulty level, it was a pretty easy question. And there's even sub-scores down here, and you can see the key for the sub-scores over here. These sections over here give you your right-in answers, so you can see the question, what the answer was, what your answer was, difficulty level, again the sub-scores, and even the cross-section sub-scores. So the key right here is to tell you what the breakdown for that is. And the final section, just as a reminder, this is your access code where you can go onto this site to see your scores online. Also down here, the Khan Academy, use them for PSAT.
Hello Highland students, I am Miss Santos-Smith, one of your counselors, and I want to take a minute to talk to you about the PSAT. For the 10th graders, this is the first introduction to a test that is close to a college entrance exam. I know that many of you found the test difficult. No matter what your score is, it is important to now utilize the information provided by your test scores to see areas that you excel in, as well as areas that you may need to take some time to focus on. By simply creating a PSAT account, you will have access to the test questions, correct answers with an explanation, free SAT preparation through Khan Academy, exploration of majors and careers, and free preparation for the SAT that you will be taking next year. All is available for you by simply creating your PSAT College Board account by using your username and password that you use to log in on your school account and the unique access code found on your PSAT score report. Please remember that as a junior, you can choose to take this exam again for a fee that will be around $16. Thank you to the juniors that chose to take the PSAT. You can also utilize the above information by utilizing your access code. Make sure that you study for the SAT, a college entrance exam that you will be taking in April of this year. For National Merit, which you can only qualify for as a junior, I will not have Idaho's qualifying scores until late spring or next fall. Last year's qualifying score, called your selection index, was around a 212. Another way to look at this is by combining your evidence-based reading and writing scores and math scores. To qualify by adding those scores, you would need a number around a 1410. Again, students, please remember that there are doors that can be opened to you, whether it be scholarships or a better understanding of what you may wish to major in when you attend college simply by using your PSAT account. Thank you.